The author, Laura Vanderkam, says, tasks expand to fill the available space. When we give them less time, they take less time. Hi everyone, welcome to Kat's Novel Adventures. In today's video, I will share how I did with rule number 8, batch the little things, in the Tranquility by Tuesday challenge. The purpose of rule number 8, batch the little things, is to carve out some time in your schedule to complete some small tasks. It really isn't designed for you to complete daily routines or major household chores or projects. It's really designed for you to do little tasks like writing a message in a birthday card, or scheduling a doctor's appointment, or perhaps even placing an online order for coffee. What's also great about this rule is it does not have to take a long time all at once. You can basically schedule multiple batch times throughout your week. Laura also mentions that there are 2 effects related to this rule. It forces prioritization. It keeps little tasks from always being an option. And your batch times can be anywhere from 30 minutes to 90 minutes. You determine how much time you want to spend on these small tasks based on what your schedule allows. In her book, Tranquility by Tuesday, she outlines 6 steps that can help you build this habit into your life. Number 1, learn to identify small tasks. Number 2, determine how much time you need. General range, 1 to 4 hours a week. Number 3, identify times and where you might get stuck. Number 4, start writing things down. Laura refers to her list as a Friday punch list. Number 5, match the right work to the right time. And number 6, find a way to make it work. Another one of my favorite authors, Gretchen Rubin, has a similar rule, I guess, or a habit, and she calls it Power Hour. And she writes about it in her book, Better Than Before, Mastering the Habits of Our Everyday Lives. And what Gretchen uses Power Hour for is not for reoccurring tasks or tasks that have deadlines. She uses them for pretty much any little task that she keeps postponing. And this way she can avoid not getting to them. She wants to get to them, so she creates this Power Hour to knock it out. So there really is no right or wrong way to incorporate this rule in your life. You really can incorporate it any way that you want to. It seems to me the key elements to eventually turning this rule into a habit is to keep a running list of these small tasks and setting aside the time to complete them. Laura sent the planning questions for rule number 8 on Friday, March 10th, and here are my responses to those questions. Question 1. Think back over the past 24 hours. What small tasks have made it onto your daily to-do list? What about small tasks that you completed as soon as you thought of them, even if you were working on something else at the time? I'm going to be honest with you, I have not been keeping a daily to-do list for several weeks. I didn't even write anything down within the 24 hours of receiving these questions. As far as how I keep track of the tasks, I'm either writing them down in my planner, or I'm writing them on Post-it notes, or I'm also trying to remember them. with my brain, and that's not always very successful, I know. As far as completing tasks when I'm working on something else, like completing these small tasks, I am guilty of that. From time to time, if a little task crops up or someone reminds me about a little task, I may stop what I'm doing. If it's only going to take 1 or 2 minutes to complete it, I do it, and then I go back and finish whatever else I was working on. Question 2. How much time in minutes do you estimate you spent on these tasks last week? I would have to say I spent probably about 180 minutes. Question 3. When could you schedule a time at work each day or each week to tackle small work tasks and any personal tasks that have to happen during business hours? Ideally, I would like to maybe batch the little things on a Wednesday morning or a Friday morning. Question 4. When could you schedule a weekly chore window, perhaps on the weekend or in the evening, to tackle small personal tasks? If I'm gonna be honest about the weekend, a Saturday or Sunday morning probably would be best, Saturday more so than Sunday. And if I'm gonna choose evenings, a Monday evening or perhaps a Wednesday evening would be best. The last 2 questions are, what might prevent you from batching the little tasks in your life? How could you deal with these challenges? Well, I responded with, if something else comes up that has a deadline, that may eliminate me batching the little things, especially if the little things don't have a deadline. And the way that I can prevent that is we do have the rule of creating a backup slot. So if I can't get to it at the time that I'm assigning it, then I could always use a backup slot to complete the little tasks. Reflection question time. Okay, we know that Laura always sends reflection questions, so let's see how I did for the week with batching the little things. Reflection question 1. Think back over the past week. What times did you designate for little tasks during your work days? For this particular week, to incorporate this rule, I scheduled batch the little things on Tuesday, midday. However, I did not keep that time. Very vaguely did I keep that time. I spent 25 minutes on Monday evening writing a message in a birthday card and addressing the envelope and putting all kinds of cute little stickers on it so I could mail it that evening, Monday evening, before Andrew and I went to Books A Million. I needed to go to the post office that day because my friend's birthday was the next day, so I was already late getting it out. On Tuesday before lunch, I worked about 15 minutes on a financial task. Now keep in mind, I had blocked out Tuesday for completing small tasks. Now of course that wouldn't have helped me because I wouldn't have wanted to be writing my birthday message on that day. I should have done that last week. On Wednesday morning, I spent 45 minutes ordering concert tickets for Stevie Nicks and The Cure. I couldn't do this on Tuesday. I had to wait until Wednesday because The Cure had a verified fan sale going on with Ticketmaster, and you had to have a code and you had to enter your window of time at a certain time in order to get your tickets. So that's one of those situations where you're in the middle of doing something, then you have to stop to complete the small task and then go on with life. Question 2. What windows did you designate for household tasks and chores? I designated Monday evening and Wednesday evening. Question 3. What effect did you see in your life from batching the little things? Unfortunately, I didn't have the desired effect because I didn't make these small things a priority as far as batching them together. They kind of were a little optional except for maybe the concert tickets and the financial task. I mean, I could have been late or later with the birthday message in the card if I would have waited for Tuesday to do the combined financial task and the card. I just think I did not get the effect that I should have from this rule, only because I didn't perform the rule the way it was intended. Questions 4 through 6 have to do with challenges, and they are: what challenges did you face in trying to batch the little things? How did you address these challenges? If you modify this rule, how did you do so? Well, let's go ahead and talk about how I modified the rule, because I do my own version of this rule. I just pretty much squeeze in these small tasks whenever I have time. Blocking time would be a way that I could pretty much solve the challenges that I have. However, I think part of my issue is that I am overextending myself. I have my hand in too many different things at one time. I'm trying to juggle it all, even though I have blocks of time scheduled for activities or appointments or for doing everything that I want to do. I just find that right now I'm overcommitted. Because I'm overcommitted, it's preventing me from, I guess, taking the time to actually be a better planner of my time. I know that doesn't make any sense probably, but I really do think that just planning a schedule for the week is not enough. I need to take time to not only plan on Fridays, but I also need to plan each day. Make a to-do list for each day like I used to do. And that's why I think I'm not as effective with batching the little things or with some of the other rules, because I'm living in the moment, basically. Living in the moment. I like that. That's pretty much what's happening here. So I'm getting these little tasks done. I'm just doing them my way. And if that means that it takes 1 or 2 minutes and I'm stopping in the middle of a bigger task or a project to complete it, that's what I'm doing right now. Part of it also is some of these small tasks do have deadlines, and I can't keep them for just one certain day. So perhaps, I'm just having this epiphany right now, perhaps I also need to have more than one list of small tasks. I need to do like Gretchen does, where she has a list of tasks that can be done at any time but need to be completed at some point, and then another list perhaps with some deadlines. I know that when I used to teach school, when I'd make my weekly to-do list, I would divide it up by days, and I would also include some padding in case I had to move a task down to another day. Perhaps I need to incorporate that strategy with what I'm doing at home now. That might be a better way of being a little more effective and not wasting time overall. The final reflection question is, how likely are you to continue batching the little things in your life? I would love to say very likely I would continue using this rule. However, I don't think it will happen as effectively as Laura has designed it to be, only because until I can shed some of my commitments and I can get my time and life a little more organized, I'm gonna probably continue doing what I'm already doing. That doesn't mean that I'm not gonna strive to incorporate this rule when I can. What that also means is I can have a time to batch the little things, and I can try to keep the running lists and see how that goes, and have the backup slots, but just not going to put a lot of pressure on myself. I love this concept. I think it's awesome. I think it can be extremely effective, and I can see where it can save time instead of wasting time. But to be honest, until I shed some of the commitments, I'm probably gonna be treading water with this rule. Now it's time to check in with how I did with the other 7 rules. So rule number 1, did you observe a bedtime this past week? I only observed a bedtime 3 times. On Friday, I got to bed at 11:40. I had attended a play. When I got home, it was probably close to 11. I ended up taking a shower and then going straight to sleep. On Saturday, I got to bed at 11:30. I did read before bed, but the reason why I was late getting into bed was I was having technical issues with the vlog that I was editing. It had something to do with the music. And then Sunday, I got in bed at 11:40 because I had my showcase for improv in New Orleans, came home, showered, went straight to bed. Monday, I got in bed at 9:40. I read before I went to sleep. On Tuesday, I was in bed for 9:45. Again, I read before going to sleep. Wednesday, I was in bed at 10:40. I was editing my Folklore February video. And then Thursday, I had my improv class, came home, took a shower, and was in bed for 10:05. Rule number 2, plan on Friday. No, I did not plan on Friday. However, I planned on Saturday. It seems like I do better either on a Saturday or Sunday morning. So we'll see if I end up adhering to the Friday part of this rule. Rule number 3, move by 3 p.m. Yes, I did it 4 times this week. On Friday, I went for a 10-minute walk in my backyard at around 1:35. Monday, 10-minute walk around my backyard at 1 p.m. On Tuesday, I did a 45-minute walk with my little dog in the neighborhood. And then on Wednesday, I did a 10-minute walk in my backyard after playing with Luna, and that was around 1:50. Rule number 4. Do your chosen activity 3 times per week. For my Choose Joy devotion, I read it 6 times, Friday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings. As far as outside 23 and 23, I took Tootie for a 15-minute walk, and combined with the 10 minutes that I went outside and walked around the backyard, I got 25 minutes in. On Saturday, it was my husband's birthday, so he wanted boiled crawfish. We ended up getting some from B&J Seafood, and then we went outside and ate, and that was about 30 minutes. On Tuesday, that was the day that I walked Tootie around the neighborhood for 45 minutes. And then Wednesday, I had 2 times I was outside. First of all, I played outside with Luna and I walked in my backyard, and then that evening, Barry and I ended up taking the dogs, both of them, for a walk in the neighborhood, and that was about 45 minutes of outside time. Rule number 5, create a backup slot. I actually had 4 backup slots, and they were Friday. I used that for my big adventure with Sue. We ended up going to dinner and then a play. On Saturday, I used my time to plan the week. So instead of me being able to do it on Friday, I blocked out time so I could do it for Saturday. And then I also edited my vlog. On Wednesday, I used it to edit my Folklore February video. On Thursday morning, I used it to upload my Folklore February video. And then in the afternoon, I used it for another big adventure. I spent the day with my friend Michelle. Rule number 6, have 1 big adventure and 1 little adventure. I actually had 4 adventures, 2 big ones, 2 little ones, and 2 of them were unexpected. The first big adventure is that I had dinner and attended a play, The Sound of Music, with my friend Sue. We had a lovely time. We ended up knowing 4 of the students in the play, and the lead role was performed by Cameron Hecker. She is so talented. All of the students were extremely talented. I was really blown away with how well everyone did. I just enjoyed myself. It was a lot of fun. It was a long play. It was about 3 hours with like a 15-minute intermission, and that was one of the main reasons why I got home so late on Friday evening. But it was well worth getting in bed a little bit later. As for my other big adventure, I ended up having another long day in Metairie. I had a funeral to attend, and my friend Michelle also attended it with me. I picked her up and we went together. It was for a mutual friend of ours whose husband passed away. I was planning on just having lunch and working in the coffee shop, but then Michelle was like, hey, you want to go grab lunch together? And I was like, if you're up to it, let's do it. So we ended up spending pretty much the whole day together. We had lunch. It was Mediterranean and our food was delicious. We also went and had coffee afterwards and dessert, and we talked at PJ's Coffee for a couple of hours, and then we went back to her house so I could change my clothes. I headed on over to improv after that. As far as my little adventures, the first one was on Sunday. My mother-in-law had wanted to take my husband out for lunch for his birthday, so we went to Walk-On's and had a quick lunch. It was me, my husband, Andrew, and my mother-in-law, and then afterwards we went to my mother-in-law's house and we had a slice of cake. She had baked him a lemon cake for his birthday. My second little adventure was on Wednesday evening. I attended the online live stream for middle grade March, and that was a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed the live streams that they've had throughout the month of March, generally on a Wednesday evening. Rule number 7, take one night for you. Of course I took one night for me. I actually took 2 nights for me, and it all had to do with improv. I completed level 3, and we generally have a showcase, and the showcase happened to be Sunday night. That's one reason why I ended up getting in bed late. The showcase was in New Orleans, so my sister and I postponed our normal book discussion that we have on Sunday evenings. I went and performed improv at the Actors Apothecary in New Orleans. It was great fun. And then on Thursday, I had my normal improv class from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. As you can see, I actually did pretty well with all of the rules except giving myself a bedtime and batching the little things. I am completing little things, I'm just not batching them the way Laura has designed them. It's Liz time. I'm always so excited to hear what Liz has done with the rules. I am so happy that she jumped on board with me for doing this challenge because, one, it's nice to have somebody to do a challenge with, and 2, it's nice to see what strategies other people come up with. So this is what Liz had to say when I asked her, how did you do with rule number 8? She says, this is actually the rule I've been doing the longest, and I'm actually surprised it's so far into the challenge that it is making its appearance. Batching is an instant mood lifter for me when feeling overwhelmed because it's so easy to feel accomplished when knocking out a bunch of small tasks at one time. I've started pairing it with reading sprints too, so now I actually look forward to some of those tasks. I think that is awesome. Sprints are anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. So excellent, excellent strategy. As for the 7 other rules, she said all the rules are going well except, and she's got 2 of them. Rule number 3, back at work, so it's after 3 movement for me, but I do walk at least 30 minutes every day with my dog, so I feel like I'm at least hitting the spirit of the rule. And I agree. It's very hard sometimes, especially with certain jobs and the time you have to be at your job, to be able to get that movement in before 3 p.m. Rule number 5, I had one backup slot, and as predicted, knowing that definitely tapped into my procrastination, this is one I'm 99.9% certain I won't be keeping. She has not liked this rule from the get-go, and mainly because she's worried that it's going to set her up for procrastination. And here is an example where it did. She also added, it's been a challenging work week, and I have to say that I'm even seeing more value in some of these rules in terms of staying on track with valuing my personal time and interest and not automatically capitulating to work demands. That's a very big word there, Liz, and I'm not sure I pronounced it well. I'm really excited about that. So kudos to you, Liz, again, for having a fabulous week. We have made it to the last rule of the Tranquility by Tuesday challenge, and that is rule number 9, effortful before effortless. That is quite the tongue twister. Here are the planning questions for rule number 9. Question number 1. What are your favorite sorts of effortful fun? That is, fun that requires some planning, coordination, or mindfulness. Number 2. What leisure activities do you typically do at night in the hours before bed or during downtime on weekends? Number 3. How much time in minutes do you estimate you spend on social media on a typical weekday? What about on weekends? When do these minutes happen? Number 4, how much time in minutes do you estimate you spend on TV or other video entertainment on a typical weekday? How about on weekends? Number 5, today choose one form of effortful fun to do before screen time. What will this be? Number 6, what challenges might you encounter in doing effortful fun before effortless fun? And number 7, what needs to happen to ensure you spend time on this effortful fun activity first? So it should be interesting to see where my effortful and effortless time is going next week. Thanks again, everyone, for stopping by for another segment of the Tranquility by Tuesday challenge. I really do appreciate you hanging out with me. In the meantime, stay amazing and be adventurous.